And staying with us here on Newsmax, we start today with the investigation into the January 6th riot. The FBI and the DOJ continue to move ahead with more plea deals with some of the suspects here. So far, only a handful of people have actually reached that deal with prosecutors, and the charges not exactly severe. Now, there are several reports that the feds are also now looking into longtime Trump ally Roger Stone after this video of Stone resurfaced this weekend. A lot of media outlets pushing this. It actually showed up first in February. He is seen on the morning of January 6th chatting it up with some of the folks there who went to the Capitol. Now, back in February, the Washington Post also reported that the DOJ and the FBI were probing ties between Alex Jones and Roger Stone. Alex Jones of InfoWars, of course. It is important to note there that even since February, that no charges have been brought against Stone or Jones, both of whom have vehemently denied any involvement with the violent parts of the attack. Meanwhile, some on the left are pushing the narrative that the Trump campaign itself helped organize the riot. One of those people is Congresswoman Maxine Waters. Here's what she says, according to her sources.
I'm told that was organizing taking place right in the Trump campaign. And so if they really are concerned about why our Capitol was invaded and why there was an insurrection, they would support a commission to find out.
Of course, Republicans don't support a commission, and nobody has any problem with Maxine Waters spewing that stuff all over TV. Let's welcome in now conservative TV host and New York Times bestselling author Eric Bolling. Eric, great to see you.
You too, JB. Thanks for having me.
All right, so we have Maxine Waters saying that, and of course that clip is widely available. You can find it all over the internet. And she's still on Twitter, and she's promoting that soundbite. But Eric, if you or I say something like that in reverse, we would be banned.
I'm told. I mean, that's what she literally said. I'm told
yes,
that there were people inside the Trump campaign or Trump administration who are planning the January 6th, whatever happened at the Capitol. I didn't like what happened. No one liked what happened. I'm sure the Trump campaign didn't like what happened at the Capitol that day. But I'm told, here's the problem. I'm told what an anonymous source, again, she's allowed to say whatever she wants. Yep. I mean, that is just absolutely asinine. Maxine Waters should be asked by who told you, and then let's ask that person, she'll never tell, and let's ask that person who told you that, and what's your proof of that? Otherwise, these are just ridiculous allegations just meant to muddy the Trump administration and Donald Trump himself. But they, the point is, JB, the right is living rent-free in the left's head. They have Roger Stone taking a picture with some people who ended up at the Capitol.
Isn't it amazing?
Somehow they're going to tie Roger Stone. And here's how they're doing it. They're saying that the FBI is looking into this, not because Roger Stone was physically there. Now I think there are pictures of Alex Jones physically there, but Roger Stone wasn't physically there, but he influenced something. I mean, if that is now the new litmus test in American jurisprudence, there are a lot of people who are going to be in a lot of trouble, because there are a lot of people on the left who've influenced some violence against police over the last year and a half, and they'll be held accountable. It's amazing. It's a two-tier justice system.
But here's what they expect us to believe, Eric, that Roger Stone, who has no real power other than he's, very popular with Donald Trump supporters, has more influence and power than the president of the United States, who stands up there and says, peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard, cautioning these folks not to do anything too violent. So the belief here, if you're into some of these reports, what they want us to believe is that Roger Stone has more influence than Donald Trump does. I think that's what they're trying to say in some ways.
Well, they're casting a wide net. They're going after anyone who was there. They're going after anyone who may have spoken to someone who was there. They have Stone taking a picture with some people who were there. I mean, okay, so what? I mean, you could take everyone who passed, any one of these people who are at the Capitol, if they spoke to whoever they spoke to, are they all in trouble as well? It's just ridiculous. I mean, we look what's going on there. Now, there's something else that they're tying this to also. There was this Proud Boys situation where they burned a BLM flag. I don't know if you saw that. But again, it blows my mind that the Antifa and the BLM and all the haters of America can burn a U.S. flag, can burn a flag that so many tens of thousands of Americans have died representing and protecting what it represents. Yet the other side burns a BLM flag, which frankly, it's a piece of cloth. They burn it, and there's investigations happening now because of it. it's scary where the country is headed, but I do think, JB, I think it can't last. I think this whole woke culture, the cancel culture, wokeism.
We do see, Eric, we do see the diminishing returns on that. But you listen to the FBI director right now, Christopher Wray, and to Merrick Garland at the DOJ, and they talk about the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys like they're ISIS and Al Qaeda. Here on these shores. But, we got an update on what the leaders of these folks are doing right now. Enrique Tarrio, who's the leader of the Proud Boys, apparently, according to the Wall Street Journal right now, is selling Black Lives Matter T-shirts in Miami. That's the only way he says he can make money. And then the vice president of the Oath Keepers, the Arizona chapter, Jim Arroyo, he was on 60 Minutes last night. Here's what he said.
I want to congratulate Stuart Rhodes and his 10 militia buddies for winning first place in the Ultimate Dumbass Contest, because that's what it was. That goes against everything we've ever taught, everything we believe in. It was pre-planned. It was pre-staged. 10 guys go and do something stupid, and suddenly we're the devil.
What are we supposed to make of this stuff? You've got this Arroyo guy from the Oath Keepers who says it was just 10 bad actors out of the whole organization. And, the left wants to take this and paint all Republicans as being seditionists and insurrectionists.
Yeah, and then they never quit with it either. It goes on and on and on. Of course they do that, and the problem is, in normal times, in normal life, John, this would start, and they try and, again, cast the wide net and encompass every conservative, every Republican into that net. Yeah, there were some bad people who did some bad things at the Capitol, no doubt, but that doesn't mean the rest of us, A, agree with it, B, support it, or C, or have anything to do with it. But yet, if you're a conservative, you somehow are part of that group. Eventually, that would die down. There's no reason. We're 6 months out from that. This should have gone away a long time ago. Let the FBI do their investigating. Let them put people in jail who destroyed property. And by the way, if that's the test, why did New York City just this week say 50% of the rioters and looters that they caught rioting and looting, breaking windows, stealing Nike stuff out of Nike stores and Walmarts, those people are going to they're going to let go? What signal are you saying? Basically, here's what you're saying. If you break windows, you riot, you steal, you hurt property, you hurt people, but you do it disguised or hidden behind some sort of virtual signal, like, I don't know, we're offended by the things that are going on by cops or by this community. If you hide behind that, you can do it, get away with it, and walk free. But if it's someone on the right who has a serious problem with something going on in America, you may go to jail for it. That's a double standard. It
is a double standard. I saw too about $1.5 million in damage was done to the Capitol. That's a lot of money, and again, the people responsible should be held accountable for that. But it is a fraction of the amount of damage that was done across the country last summer in Portland and other places as well with the Antifa and Black Lives Matter riots. Let's also talk real quickly, Eric, about what's happening in Georgia. We're paying very close attention to the voter integrity effort there. The Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, says he is removing 100,000 obsolete and outdated voter files. These are, people's names on the rolls here. He says he's making sure that Georgia's voter rolls are up to date. It's key to ensuring the integrity of our elections. This is why he fought and beat Stacey Abrams in court in 2019 to remove nearly 300,000 obsolete voter files before the November election. Now, they're announcing this publicly, Eric, and everyone can check on this. There's plenty of time. You have 40 days if your name is on this list to get it rectified. There are 18,000 at least dead people on that list. But this is what the left and Democrats say is voter suppression. Georgia has done everything it can to try and track these people down. They're continuing this effort now. But again, this is voter suppression to some.
Yeah, no, it's actually what it is it's cleaning up voting across the country. Now, we can discuss what went wrong in Georgia and in other places. I personally think that's something that they should have been working on for years prior to the November election, rather than after. And if people didn't like the result and they go back and say, well, let's see what happened, they should have been working on it. Look, all these instances, there's one solution to all of this. It's voter ID. Require voter. If you want to vote, you need an ID to vote, and you have to prove that you're the person on that ID. I mean, how in the world is that suppression? How in the world is that anything but legal? How in the world is that anything but American? You need, as you know, you need an ID to get get on an airplane, to get into an airport terminal. I needed 5 forms of ID to change my driver's license from New York to South Carolina, and just to change my driver's license, just to be able to drive in the state, not to determine the next president of the United States. Everything is voter suppression unless it fits the left's narrative, which means let anyone vote that we say is allowed to vote, which would include, in this case, Georgia, dead people, something like 60,000 people who've already moved out of the state. Why should they still be able to vote in the state of Georgia? I mean, it's insanity. And in some cases, illegal people who are here illegally shouldn't be allowed to vote.
And just think about this. You know, they have done several things to check on these people. They're still on the rolls right now, as it stands, and they need to be removed. And you know, this is Democrats want to call this voter suppression. This is why they want to federalize our entire election system, because they don't like that this stuff.
It's really voter fraud suppression, is what it is.
Yeah, that's what election integrity is, but we don't say those two words together very often, Eric, because we might get canceled for saying those two words together.
Get investigated by the FBI.
We might be. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, because I got more stuff to talk about here with you. I don't want to get bogged down in any investigations here, but you know, we saw some confusion over the weekend. People didn't know whether they're supposed to be celebrating Juneteenth or Pride Month sometimes, but I think singer Macy Gray is also a little confused about the American flag. I saw you tweeted about this as well. She says that the current one has been hijacked as a code for a specific belief, like the Confederate flag is a tattered, dated, divisive, and incorrect. So she's comparing the American flag, the stars and stripes, to the stars and bars here. A lot of Republicans say no way. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem says a new flag, no thanks. Old glory still waves as a symbol of liberty and justice for all. Congresswoman Lauren Boebert had some great things to say about it, like this as well. There are 195 countries in the world. 194 of them don't have the American flag. Macy Gray can go live in one of those other countries if she likes. Can't she, Eric?
Yeah. Well, you know, very odd timing, or interesting timing on Macy Gray tweeting that she thought the American flag was outdated and needed to be replaced. It happened on Juneteenth, or the weekend of Juneteenth, which is the celebration of the emancipation, which, you know, we can go into why that June 19th makes very little sense as the reason for a celebration day. It could have been January 1st, the day the Emancipation Proclamation was actually delivered, or September 22nd, the day that Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. But Juneteenth seems to be a lot more convenient because it comes about 2 weeks before the 4th of July. The left and Biden signing Juneteenth into a federal holiday, first of all, will cost Americans about $525 to $550 million, because we're supporting a federal day off. And that's the amount we're going to spend in giving federal workers a day off. But the fact that they signed this in to be 2 weeks prior to the 4th of July holiday, which is an American revolution, we pushed back. We declared our independence from Great Britain on 4th of July, 1776, all Americans, not just white Americans or black Americans, but Juneteenth, they're really setting this up to be where there'll be an Independence Day for African Americans, and there'll be an Independence Day for the rest of the American civilization, which is insanity. It
was interesting to see. I mean, it's supposed to be a federal holiday. The official colors of this country are still red, white, and blue, but you saw a lot of logos with different colors celebrating June 13th, and that was a little confusing for some people as well, including my hometown Atlanta Braves on their Twitter feed. I was confused. But that's not the first time that's happened. Eric, thank you for helping clear some things up for me. As always, great to see you. Take care.
You too, John.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.